Good evening, finally. Thank you for coming to our September board meeting for Anime Twin Cities. It's been an adventure and a half. As you can see, not all of us are at the center for various reasons, but we are going to have this board meeting right now. Please remember to put your name in the chat and to email the board to the usual place, so you're counted as one of the meetings for voting rights. Okay, so good morning. If I remember correctly, and please correct me if I haven't, there were no off-cycle board actions and votes to take care of, correct? Correct. Okay, so as is usual, the first minute section of the meeting will be for open topics. Is that me being echoey?
Yes and no, there's not much I can do about it with the way we are currently set up.
Okay, I apologize for that then, folks. We'll do the best we can. We don't have a lot today, but we will take anyone who wishes to approach the board with a topic to us. So let us give you a few minutes to say in the chat if you had a topic for the board. On deck will be, of course, Troy as Anime Detour after we give a few minutes. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. If someone in the board does have something to say, I'm usually waiting for a symbol that, somebody had something. I don't see anything, so we're going to move on. Troy, can you give us a breakdown of Detour as a coordinator?
Sure. Let's see. Earlier this month, we did our first ambassador table in quite a while. Probably 18 months or so out at 2DCon. Went pretty well. Getting back into the community. Took some registrations. Basically everything we normally do at an ambassador convention or an ambassador table at a convention. This one being local, so that's a little different than out regionally. We don't have to ask people to travel too far to come back to us in the spring. Also in our host hotel, so that works to our benefit as well. Let's see, we opened registration, was that last weekend? Everything kind of blends together. Thank you to our Drew and his team who had a lot of work on the back end, piecing things together, getting that up and running for our community. Let's see, we did some revamping of the sponsorship tiers right before opening registration. Artist Alley just opened this past weekend. So up next will be programming, exhibit hall, those sort of things. We're starting to get into a busier time for a lot of things to open up, start taking shape, sort of the public-facing parts of it. The largest piece behind the scenes to put those things in front of the public is our budget. All of the budgets were turned in by hook or by crook. and we'll be working as the budget team to get that submitted and presented before the board next month, and returned back to the department heads by their vice chairs, I believe the very next weekend. So I think that I think the weekend after the board meeting, I think we have a staff meeting. So they will find out either by email or if they are in attendance, what their budget for this cycle will be. Starting to talk some with the hotel, work out some pieces along that line. We do have a few, I've been using the verbiage at play. We have a few spots in the hotel. Our next, one of the other things on the board, I guess, a lot of things happening simultaneously, is space allocation. So that's, you know, one of the next things on the board that we need to sort out is some areas we aren't going to use. For instance, we're not having a blood drive this cycle. So what spaces does that free up? We've had some talks with Concom. They had some spaces that they wanted to look at utilizing. If and how we can make that happen, what other spaces does that put into play, things like that. So just want to make sure that we take a look at that, as we haven't had a physical convention. By the time we do, we won't have had one for 2 full cycles. So now is a time to look at and make sure that we have everybody in the spaces that we want them to be, that they want to be, that is most efficient. We don't want to just move people around just for the sake of moving people around. So Dave, you had a hand?
Yes, Mike. Okay, hold on. I don't know why I've got an echo. I'm going to turn off that for a second there. So Mike had a comment in the things about what the COVID protocols we're going to have at the convention, and he also suggested something about, instead of, if we're not going to have a blood drive, have vaccines or testing there. I don't know, as a board member, if we want to get involved into medical care. I don't think our liability would accept that. But his first question about if you wanted to address what you're thinking right now about the COVID protocols that you're thinking about.
I think it's probably the most, probably the best that we can offer now is sort of what is currently happening now, which would, you know, probably be mask required, proof of vaccination at this point. But that's for what's happening right now as we speak. So should anything, that's about the best we can speak of intelligently at this point. If anything else comes different through, you know, the World Health Organization or any sort of other government mandates, positive or negative change, you know, as we say, and it's not just verbiage that we throw out there. We're paying attention to that, so that we can keep our staff, our attendees, our hotel partners, et cetera, everybody that would come to the event safe, which is the reason we elected to cancel the shows in the past 2 years, was purely for safety reasons. So that's essentially what we're seeing in conventions that are started or in this first wave of opening. And I think that we are sort of in agreement that we think that those are the best, some of the best practices that we see. We may tailor them a little bit, but I don't know that we're seeing anything that we wouldn't agree with, or anything off the top of my head that I think that we would need to layer on top of that right now. But like I said, we'll continue to look at that. The reason we've left that not intentionally vague, but that we didn't want to put that in concrete right now, is that you know, we're quite a number of months away from the convention. So we wanted to kind of give things time to hopefully improve worldwide and see where we're at least after the first of the year, and see where we can speak a little bit more intelligently as far as that putting us about 2.5 months away from our convention.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Did you have anything else?
Nope. I think that was it. Unless there was any further questions, I think that's where we're at.
Can I have a volunteer to take a look at the YouTube? Because every time I turn on YouTube to try to get the feed, my mic goes crazy, and so I don't know if you can hear it. So just let me know if somebody says anything. So I apologize for that, because everything is just fine. Okay, charities. Since I'm looking over charities, I haven't done anything with charities this month. I don't think this is not the time for it. There's been some inquiries about charities for next year. I've sent them an email saying, yes, maybe, perhaps, send in your proposals. Other than that, there's nothing going on right now. Communities, communications, and SOS, which would be, second. Are you communications now, Troy? Are you handling media? Okay, that would be.
No, just, I mean, specifically for the detour side, but for ATC, I think that's been Tristan mostly. Am I wrong?
ATC specifically.
Yeah.
Communications.
I was just.
We did get reached out to by the Youth Anime Club here a couple weeks back. I was going to be reaching out to them later this week. They were going to get some pictures, and we were going to do a bit of a collab, get some social media posts out, and see what we might be able to drum up with them. Possibly some small activities and get-togethers coordinated by the gal in charge of their little club. She said she was going to give me some pictures, but I haven't heard from her in a few weeks. So we will see about that. Yep, I already saw. As far as communication or communities, we did have the rental request from Anime Fusion that went out, as you had mentioned, this last weekend. Pickup went great. They picked up Wednesday. They picked up last Wednesday night. When they picked up, what did I say?
Anime Fusion.
Did I say Fusion? I meant Furry Migration. Yes, thank you. Fusion is later this month.
I was just confused, sorry.
Yes, no, much confusion. It's a day. So Furry Migration picked up on Wednesday. Everything went great. Turns out there was a little bit of a communication hiccup on their end, which meant that their equipment rental request was about a quarter of what it should have been. They were not the people in charge this year were not quite aware of the quantity and variety of things that they have rented from us in the past, which is why they only requested TVs, not things like panel kits, projectors, and other things that and speakers that they have requested from us in the past. So,
I don't think we need to talk about Numbercon's problems right now.
No, that's not a problem. That was just feedback that they gave me regarding our rental process.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
And the feedback was because we didn't keep a history of what we gave them before, so we didn't double cross-check their request. Is that?
It was a mix of two. It was
asking for that to be a thing?
No. It was a mix of two things. One, the people that left and did not communicate with the people that stepped in to replace them, and we did not have a list anywhere for them to look at, so they didn't know what we had.
So it's just kind of feedback that maybe we look at a historical, like what we've rented in the past, or like especially if you see like a big thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Be like, if people come to us, be like, okay, hey, cool, thanks for submitting it. Just as a reminder, this is what you requested last time, kind of thing. It would not be too hard for us to keep a short list of that. Overall things went good. Check-in went easy. Only took about an hour or so. Checked all the TVs. All of them are working just great. Everything got dropped off. Took about 5 minutes. Only hiccup that had happened is apparently one of the TVs is still missing a power cord that apparently we never got replaced from 2DCon a few years back. So we'll have to look into getting that particular cable replaced, but otherwise everything went smoothly. And then on the SOS front, I was gonna start sending out some emails to the SOS chain of things to start up a little game night here in the classroom, since there's such a quantity of board games here. To see, just kind of start planning things out, get a date, and then reach out to GPS to see what dates are available and work that out. However, with things like mask mandates, the Delta variant, and everything coming back into swing, I figured it might be better to hold off a little bit to see if or when that might clear up. Don't want to jump in both feet straight into a brick wall. But yeah, that is it for about that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Communities, Communications, or SOS? Anybody in the chat? Please let me know. Okay, then we'll move on to finance. If someone does have something in the chat, just somebody let me know. Kim?
You're gonna have to. Do I have to like sit way over by Tristan for you guys to hear me?
Sure.
Okay, well,
Tristan
hang
said
on.
I was quiet.
Here. I crank this up. You speak.
Okay.
All right, so, now I lost my train of thought, but okay, here we go. Bank account balance sitting as of today, $153,749.69. So that is representative of registration starting to open and registration starting to come in. There haven't been a lot, but there have been about $2,700 worth. So it's about, I don't know, 43 registrations, 5 of which were sponsors. So things are moving along, and some t-shirts. So we're going in the right direction there. The education fund is still sitting at $22,6258, and the leg account at $12,999.39. You may. I'm on this camera over here. I don't know. This is the end of the last month in our fiscal year. So in the next couple of weeks, I will be making the transfer out of the main banking account into the leg account to regarding the matching contributions that we do. Currently, they are sitting at $501 because one of the registrations we received this month had a $1 donation to the leg account and a $1 donation to the scholarship fund. So people are still making use of that also. Then everybody should have gotten the financials, including the fiscal report that we've been doing since May. That went out to all of the staff this time. I think that's going to work better than us trying to share it and everybody looking at it or only catching a few people. This way, at least everybody on the staff is getting it. So there will be some changes coming up as the new fiscal year starts and I start including some projected income and stuff in there.
Okay.
I'm not sure that there's really anything else on the basic financial side. I will go ahead and issue the refund to Furry Migration for their damage deposit. That'll be $200, so that'll take place this week. And if we know, have you received a signed agreement from Quad Cities so that I can do an invoice for their rental and damage deposit?
Not a signed invoice, but we'll get a hold of that real quick.
Okay, so when we get
Next
that
week.
taken care of, then I will send them an invoice. Then, otherwise, I think it's just the budget that we'll do as soon as we're done with everything else.
Thank you very much, Troy. I forgot to thank Troy, forgot to thank Tristan,
welcome.
and Barry, thank you. Thank you very much, Kim. I remember their name. It's just me and my brain. Okay, so does the board have any, first of all, are there any questions in the chat? We're good?
None at this point.
Cool. The board, did you want to take a break or did you want to just wade on through this?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. Then let us review the ATC budget. Since unfortunately, because of where I have, we really can't display it, but I had a few questions to begin with, unless somebody else wanted to go first.
No, go right ahead. I have a few things I want to talk about on it too, so maybe you'll cover them.
Okay. So on the most recent one that you sent us,
The one that has the total as 45,000 is the correct budget.
Okay, maybe I got the wrong one because it looked like you didn't. No, okay, 45,297. Yes,
Yes.
but we didn't get the price on that correct budget. The last one I received, we didn't have the Ellis Properties storage unit rent and utilities. The number from last year, 2020 to 2021.
wasn't
No,
on there, I
because
don't
it wasn't paid for out of ATC, so I didn't put it on the budget so you saw what the expense was. It was
Okay,
a
that's what I
detour
forgot.
expense.
Okay, I see. Okay, and now it's going to be the board. Okay.
Correct.
Correct? Yeah. My other question is, let's see, what was that? Quickbooks Software. You had $430 for last year, right?
Yep.
Do you upgrade it every year?
I don't
Or
upgrade it, but we are billed for it, and so I just included a little extra in case the fee goes up.
Okay, so we didn't buy one. We just we do the online thing where we pay every year.
Yes. I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I went out and bought a thing, and then I don't know, it's on my computer.
Okay.
I think it's because it's
Okay.
a nonprofit version. I'm not really sure.
Okay, because for something else I do, I bought it once and we paid for it once and it still works. But could you just I don't know, what are we getting for the $430 every year? Just the license fee for it?
Yeah, and it was a requirement with maps that at the time that we use QuickBooks, and so it's just been continued on. And
Okay.
it's where I used to give them access to the account so that they could go in and do the 990 and pull all the financials that they necessarily needed.
Okay.
It's not like I print checks or anything out of there. So if there's a different version and it's free or it's a one-time thing, as long as it works for my Mac, I don't mind changing.
It's Mac.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Macs. Okay, I was just could you just investigate that? I mean, it's just for probably next year afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely, I can.
Okay. Also, okay, so the e-ballot, what was the other thing? Now, this is just an odd question, but I'm only asking it because of the situation with the budget this year. Ashley, you would know this as well. The leg fund, how is that set up? If that's a matching donation that you budget for us, correct?
It is. I do budget for the maximum match, but it was one of the things on my list because I thought we were going to do some rewriting and maybe take that out. I didn't know.
Is it possible? Is it possible to suspend that? Not because the leg fund is good, but we're kind of like a little,
And it's got a pretty nice
financially
balance in it right now.
Right, but I just wanted to look into that, whether because it's budgeted for 5,000. Have we ever hit 5,000 before?
In the very first year.
Okay. Okay, well,
It usually is around 2,500 in most years. But
Okay,
obviously there wasn't
2,500.
any for the year before, and this year, obviously, it was only 501.
I should have checked in the bylaws. Is it in the bylaws that we have this match unless we,
No,
or is
if
it-
if
or is
it
it procedure?
exists, it exists in the policy, and I'm not well phrased in the policy. Tristan?
It
in
is,
the-
I believe it is a policy, not a bylaw.
Yeah, it is definitely
Okay,
not a bylaw. There is nothing
so-
about the leg fund in the bylaws.
if we vote, if we vote as a board to suspend the match only for this year, would that be a violation of our bylaws?
No.
No,
Okay, okay, I would like to consider that only for this year.
yeah, Tristan's
You know,
pulling up the policy
because we have
right now.
Okay, because we have $12,000 in it, and I want to keep it as low as possible. So that's what I would think, but I want to make sure that I'm within the bounds of the policy. Yes.
So, just to clarify, we quite haven't, so I pulled up the policy itself as was written, that we put on, pulled the policy. Apparently how the policy is written, we are supposed to seed 5,000 every year and additionally match 5,000 more. So potentially, we would be placing $10,000 a year into it.
Okay. But
In my
that's a
time, I
that's a
don't remember us
policy.
ever seeding that 5,000.
Nor do I ever
Okay.
recall that being a discussion.
Let me see. I wish I had read this book more, but I'm not yet. I would like to make a proposal right now that, due to emergency concerns, that we suspend for the 2022 year both the $5,000 seed and the $5,000 match due to financial concerns.
I would second
Do I have a
that.
second? Everyone in favor? Please say. Everyone opposed?
Don't vote.
Are you opposed?
Oh,
Or
no. Sorry, I lagged.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought because, okay, so you were for it, Hatara?
Yes.
Okay, so it passes unanimously. Let me record that. Yes, Troy.
Is the leg fund what we also call the community fund?
Yes.
Could we abolish the usage of the leg fund and just start calling it the Animate Twin Cities Community Fund for ease and purpose?
Okay, that'd be great. Probably, let's revisit the policy next month then.
I mean, is it in a policy that we refer to it as the Lauren Egan Ann Fund?
It's
'Cause
a policy
what
that it
does
is the leg community fund,
Yeah, so technically
Okay.
referring to
and the
referring
whole
to it
thing
as
should
the
probably be reviewed
commun-
anyway.
yeah, referring to it as the community fund
Okay.
or the leg fund is technically neither one of those are accurate, as the full title in the policy is the leg community fund.
Okay, then yeah, I agree with Dave. If we could revisit that, because
Okay,
I think the cleverness has worn off.
okay, yeah, we'll put that on the agenda for October.
Leg fund.
And I run out of ink. Excuse me. Anyway, I'll just record it anyway. So, sorry for monopolizing the first discussion of the budget. Once you can revise that in the budget, right, Kim?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay. So, Kim, you had some things. Did anybody else have any questions about the budget from the board or the chat? No. Chat with chat? Yeah, chat. Sorry.
The one
I
thing
didn't
I
know what to
want
call
to
them
talk
first.
about on the budget is the USPS fee. That comes up in January, and I know it was discussed last month or the month before about maybe getting rid of the PO box and just using the physical address here at the Waterbury. Now would be the time that if we want to get rid of it, we have some time until our annual fee is due at the end of January for us to get out a change of address, whatever. And so, I mean, it's not a lot of money on the budget. It's $300. Right now, we get a lot of junk mail and not very much actual mail. And what
Uh,
registration checks we get can easily come here.
Would there be a security concern about them coming here? I know there's like a mailbox thing.
Yeah, Dave, isn't it you guys pick it up and then place it in the appropriate boxes?
Either Ann or I are tasked at the thing to go to our locked mailbox. We take it out of our locked mailbox in the front of the building, come back, sort it for console room, Minnesota Furs, Convergent, and ATC. We have the only master key that's in our office. We open it, we put it into the mailbox, and then lock it. So only people who have the key can get into it. I have the key, obviously, and I assume Kim has the key to the mailbox?
I do not have a key to the mailbox.
I don't think any of us at ATC or Detour do, except for, I mean, other than you three are affiliation.
I would say if
Okay,
we don't,
we
it's
have-
probably due to lack of using or asking for one.
We
Yeah,
have extras. We have extras secured in our office in the locked cabinet. So if you need extras, we can get those, or GPS can get those. Okay. Yes, Troy.
So just so it starts from mailman to GPS, and that's locked, is what you're saying?
Yes, there's a
Okay, I just wanted
mailbox.
to make sure.
There's a
And then
mailbox
it goes
out by
from
the chess
GPS
club.
locked to
Yeah.
ATC locked.
Right. So there's out by the chess club. There's a bunch of mailboxes right across from the office. Not every day, but mostly every day, we go out, we take all the mail out because I got to get the bills and then get the writing stuff. We take it to the office. We take the master key for the mailbox in there that's only can be unlocked by the master key or one of their keys. Sort the mail, close it up. It's always under lock. So.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Is that a motion? Is that a motion?
So are we closing the PO box then, or?
That's what I'm asking, if that was a motion from Tristan, that we
Maybe we
close
need
the
to
PO
double
box.
check that we don't need the PO box for sure, because there are some things where they're like, oh, we need a PO box. I don't think there's an issue, but I would want to double
Okay.
check.
Well, okay, if nobody wants to make a motion, and then we can look into it. I don't think does the USPS charge by the year?
Yes, well, I can pay either 6 months at a time or a year at a time, and I just always paid for the full year at the end of January. I could pay for 6 months at the end of January. But
Okay, I think we should have enough time to investigate that if we can cancel by the end of January,
I
we'll
would think
cancel
so.
by the end of January. Yeah, I'd like to think that we're all busy working on Anime Twin Cities and Anime Detour stuff. I know I will be.
So what Christina brought
Um,
up last meeting, would that be a good question for Charles? The statute.
I'm sorry, Tristan, what? I'm not hearing you, Tristan.
I was
Well,
asking
you talk-
Ashley.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to me. I'm going, I can't hear you. Never
I
mind.
was
Sorry for
just asking
interrupting.
you because I know we've looked at a number of the Minnesota nonprofit statutes when we were writing the bylaws, which is how we phrased some of them. And then in the past, Christina and a couple others have sent some other statutes our way, which conflicted with those.
I think the concern was the PO box is, as far as the state is concerned, our registered address. We're not registered at the Waterbury, which does conflict with where our office is. There's something weird there.
Yeah,
But
and
if we ultimately get rid of the PO box, that no longer is concern anyway. It was purely where the PO box is located.
we would just have to
and that was
update our
filed
forms.
Under a PO box, not an address.
No, yeah, we would just have to update a couple of forms.
Yeah, because the PO box is located right down the street from my house.
Right, but that's also the listed registered office with the state of Minnesota rather than the Waterbury, and that was a separate thing. But that can get fixed.
We
when
would
do the
change all
renewal
of
this
that.
year. Yeah. Well, we gotta renew it this year anyway, so we can change it then.
Okay. Did anybody want to make a motion, or should we continue up with questions?
Let's look into it. I'd say before we make a decision.
Okay. Anyone else? Hadora, you good?
Ashley said she had some
Good.
questions.
The
Oh.
GPS contract is for 18,000, and I know we were talking about the like matching fund and all that stuff. Did we ever continue that conversation?
Well, this 18,000 is what's gonna be due in October.
So is that
It's
for,
our final year on the contract.
okay,
And from my conversation with Dave last month, it's a 9,000 base and it's a 9,000 match, and he's pretty confident that they reached the $9,000 match with, that convention.
Yeah, I'm
okay, so this 18,000 is what we owe for the already signed in place contract?
Correct.
Okay.
And then has anybody reached
'Cause-
out to us from GPS to talk about the ongoing contracts?
I haven't seen.
I have not.
Okay.
It's okay, Dave.
Understandable.
sorry. Anyway, Ally, you had some questions.
I did not.
Oh, I thought someone said you did. Okay. How about anything in the chat? Any questions in the chat?
No, there is not.
Okay. John, Dora, Troy, Tristan, Ashley. No? Kim, did you have anything else?
No, I do not.
Okay.
So,
With the
okay,
intent-
so then we do need to vote though to approve this budget, and it looks like then we're only cutting the 5,000, so it'll have to be a budget at 40,297 right now, with the possible understanding that we're gonna eliminate the PO box.
Would we?
Well, see, the situation is if we
Don't
decide
still
to
need
keep the
detour
PO.
budget and any of the other side budgets before we approve the ATC budget?
No, we've always
is-
approved the ATC budget before we've approved the detour budget.
Since it's all coming out of the same bank account, shouldn't we budget everybody all at the same time?
That's not how we've done it.
Traditionally, what
We've
this
not
has
done
been
that.
was the operating budget of the board and the other branches excluding detour.
So do we like zero out our budget when we get detour, or what are we doing there?
No, but I take it
Well,
into account when I tell Troy how much he can have as a budget.
I understand your concern, but
Yeah.
no, we're not, the detour budget and the ATC budget's just been off because people doing the ACTZ budget, and then now Kim has to switch to the detour budget, and asking her to do both budgets in the same month when detour takes a lot more. If we,
Well, I mean, this one's already done, but rather than approving it, wouldn't we just want to approve them all at the same time? Also, we were just given this like a couple hours ago. Some of us were at work.
okay.
I've
So
never
do
been in a
you-
budget meeting that was like, here's a piece of paper, vote on it.
I guess that's-
I understand that, Ashley, but
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. So if you don't want to vote for the budget,
We can vote next month, that's fine.
I'm just expressing my concern. If you guys want to vote on it, that's fine. I am just expressing concern because I've never been with an organization that didn't like zero out their budget when they approved it. And try to balance the
Well-
budget at the beginning of the year.
takes all kinds. Anyway, but did you want to make a motion then to not vote on the budget this month?
I am not making
and
any
vote on
motions.
next month? Okay, well, we appreciate your concern. We all have anything. Did anybody else want to address that? Are they comfortable, or would they rather have more time to look over the budget? I'm trying to be, should read that. Anyway, trying to be fair here. Yeah,
I would rather have more time to take a look at it before we vote on it.
okay.
I'll just,
How about you, Hadora, Ally? Okay,
I don't have an opinion. It's
okay.
like, whatever.
Okay, so, okay, then let me take an informal stroll call.
Straw poll.
Straw poll. Yeah, I just got it around. How many people would like an extra month before we approve this budget? This, by the way, if we don't approve the budget right now, Kim, will there be any financial, problems?
Well,
like with the
just-
storage or anything?
We need to be in understanding that the D&O insurance is due on October 14th, and I have to pay it. And I have to pay the 18,000 to GPS in the beginning of October, so those are
Okay.
the two expenses that I know have to come out.
Okay, Ashley?
So if we don't vote to approve the budget right now, we can make a motion to approve needed operational costs. So while we might not want to vote on a full year, we can at least vote to pay the costs of bills that are coming up between now and our next meeting.
Okay.
That is a
Then this
motion
will-
that is available.
Okay, so, then I'm gonna make a motion, to say, I'm just gonna make a motion to say that we delay the approval of the budget in total until next month's,
Meeting.
what is this? Thank you. Next month's meeting. Can I have a second, please? Okay, John seconds it. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, so the other reason I made a motion is just to get on with it. I would also like to make a motion that the DNO, what is that again?
Operational expenses.
Directors and officers.
We can also, I don't think you really want to limit it in case an emergency bill that has to be paid comes up.
I would just call it
say
out.
needed operational costs. You can be vague,
Okay.
vague-ish.
Then
It
I
has
will
to be
make
an
a motion
operational
that
cost.
that needed operational funds can be dispersed as long as it's, I don't feel like, I'm
Needed.
sorry, I'm gonna retract that motion. Because one of the bills is going to be GPS, I don't feel comfortable making this motion.
We can say
can
bills that we
someone-
receive between now and the next meeting.
Okay, and I'd like to
Because
make
if
a
we're
motion that
receiving
any
a bill,
bills,
we have to pay it.
that any operational expenses that are deemed necessary and reasonable by the treasurer can be paid before the approval of the budget at the next meeting. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, and I saw John first, but who knows about time lapse? All in favor, raise your hands. All opposed? It passes unanimously. Okay, so thank you very much. Does anybody have anything else to talk about today? That came up?
There was one question in chat that I know Troy would probably have the answer to. Gundam fan, they were asking if we were partnered with Extra Life at all. I know some of the staff do Extra Life streams throughout the year. I don't know if we had a partnership with them.
Nothing official between Detour and Extra Life. Not as like a sponsor or anything where we do official streams at Detour or anything like that. So I guess in terms of reaching out to them, not something that we've done or that we have, again, an official structure or plan for, not something we're opposed to, just something we'd have to work on having that, again, sort of a structure for and exactly what we would want to do with them, what we would be asking of them, what we would be looking to offer to them, that sort of thing. A lot of times those sort of streams and things like that happen. They can happen during our off cycle. Then again, that can require a little bit different infrastructure, staff, and that sort of thing. People willing to do that. If we have that, it makes things easier. Just don't want to volunteer our services without having the folks to provide them.
Troy, would that even be with Anime Detour? You've got this big thing coming up. Since Extra Life is in November, would it not be under ATC Charities? Or would it be if you want it
it depends. If it's something that the Anime Detour gaming staff want to do, it's something they can do it. GPS. It just sort of depends on not really how the contact is established, but exactly what sort of thing it is we're willing to do. But ultimately it all kind of falls in some way under ATC's umbrella anyway. I mean, if it's Anime Detour staff, you know, we're promoting Anime Twin Cities presents Anime Detour. I wouldn't say regardless, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So yeah, unless it's something specifically at Anime Detour, it's kind of just helping the entirety of the organization.
So, Gundam, okay, I don't have it. The Gundam guy 7223, Mike
Kyle.
is 7225.
Gundam fan.
Okay, Gundam fan. Anyway, send me an email as I'm just shepherding ATC Charities right now. If you want to organize something and you want to volunteer to get this taken care of, let's talk. Let's do it. We're here, especially if this can be done for very little in expenses. Okay.
And just as a matter of identification, remember that was one of the folks we met out at 2DCon.
Yes, I know. I think his name is Mike, but if his
Kyle.
name's not Mike, what?
Kyle.
Kyle.
Ah! That's why I was trying to remember Gundam. It's Kyle, not Mike.
It's all right. Your help.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
I got you.
I do remember you. I did remember you. I'm just embarrassed now. Anyway, back to Kyle. Come talk to us. Let's see what you can do. Come in. If you want to organize something, let's have a chat. Okay? Anything else in chat, guys? Okay. And I ask other board members, does anybody else have anything else? No? Okay. Then I would like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I have a second, please? Tristan seconds it. All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, please raise your hands. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board. I just gotta stop saying ladies and gentlemen. Members of the board and our staff and members on YouTube. Hopefully, I figure out how computers work, and I don't have COVID. So, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to Anime Detour very extremely, and I hope you are too. I just got, as you know, the meeting's over. I just want to say Fade's coming back. He's agreed to come back, and so is Harrison Dyko, and the, what's that called? The baffle stick people. So we got things to do. So thank you very much, and please cut the feed, Tristan.